non-televisedTitleMatchNetwork.com.
Going into the ladder match at WrestleMania, how far did you and Shawn want to go as far as pushing the limits with it?
What happened was we showed up in some towns out west, which were Blackjack Lance's towns. And see, I knew Lanza from many, so I was kind of Lance's boy. And we just showed up in some towns. And what had happened is Shawn, for some reason, had been suspended. So he still had the Intercontinental belt. He'd never been beaten. So then Vince needed an Intercontinental champion. So they had a battle royal. And then the last two guys were me and Rick Martel. And then Martel put me over, so I was the Intercontinental champ. But Shawn had never been beat. So when Shawn came back from this bogus suspension, he wore his belt and I wore my belt. And we do interviews and he'd go, "You never beat me?" And I go, "Yeah, you're right. I know. You never beat me either." You know, and if so it was a natural angle. It worked out sweet so we just showed up in these towns out west and house shows and we're having ladder matches. And we're going, what? We never even had one. So we were just out there and actually we had some better matches that weren't televised. We had some sweet matches in house shows where sometimes the stuff just goes right. Like sometimes stuff happens accidentally, like the ladder will bounce off the rope and come back and hit, just things will happen that you don't plan. We had some better ones that people saw live that weren't on pay-per-views.
Yeah.
But Lanza, we were just supposed to have a regular match at WrestleMania, and Lanza told Vince that these guys are having a hell of a ladder match. Maybe you should stick that on the pay-per-view. And because of Lanza, we had a ladder match there. But we, naturally we wanted to have the best match we could. And, I thought it was pretty good. I mean, it was good. It was a really good match. But the way I remember it, man, it seems like we had one in San Bernardino or somewhere out there in front of not that many people that was better.
Wow. Did you know it after the match? Did you know you had a great match at WrestleMania?
I could feel it during the match that it was just going. Because see, you got to remember, I've wrestled Shawn so many times. I traveled with him. We shared rooms together. We were in rental cars together. We were on airplanes together. So we knew each other so well. All we had to do was look at each other. We didn't have to talk. We could look. And you look at him and go, "Remember Chicago? Yeah, okay. Remember what we did in Boston? All right." You'd be on the floor and you look at him and go, "Boston." And you go, "Yeah." And we do, we had such good chemistry and such good timing. But things were just falling in place and plus it was Madison Square Garden, it was just it was a dream come true, I remember though, with that type of match, see, once you set it in motion, you can't edit it or speed it up. We had to do what we had, once it's in motion, you have to keep just plodding along. And I'll never forget coming back to the locker room and we felt we had a pretty sweet match. And I remember too laying there, like I climbed up, grabbed both belts and fell down. And I'm laying there selling, Shawn selling, and Baby Earl Hebner's referee. And he comes over and goes, "Shawn said, climb up the ladder with both belts." So then I climbed back up and did that, and there was this famous picture of me holding both belts. That was Shawn's idea.
Wow.
So I would lay there and sold. Because Shawn's such a pro that he wants the match to be good no matter who's being featured because it's our match, And but when I got back to the locker room, Savage went, "First of all, I want to say great match, and I want to say you're very selfish." Because we went long and cut into their time. And Kid was jumping. But before they could even get Bradshaw down the aisle, the people started going, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, because they wanted to see me beat that little prick's ass. So Kid came out, and he was working earlier in the match in like some 8-man, then coming out working in like semi-main with me because he is a main eventer. And we were rocking the house because Kid has enough offense to get me in trouble. He'd get me in trouble and people, right. I mean, we were tearing the house down. And I just knew that I believe that Kid and I should have been the angle, could have been the money. I could have worked with Goldust at another time or whatever. I mean, I don't know how to answer the story. I thought it was in bad taste. The business was different then. We weren't doing things that controversial. I rebelled against it. I said no to Vince, which hurt my career. I hurt I hurt Dustin's feelings, which I never meant to. And I still didn't get to work with kids, so it was like a lose-lose situation.
TitleMatchNetwork.com